Hi, hello, good evening, and good day, whatever time it is where you are. This is Strat Chat, and we have the absolute pleasure of being joined by our winners of Big Brother Australia 2023, the sisters Tay and Ari. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I know you guys are super busy, so we're going to just jump right into everything. Let's do it. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. This is Strat Chat. You can find us on all the socials at Strat Chat Pod, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to receive your podcasts. And yes, we are here with the beautiful Tay and Ari. Congratulations on your big win. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic game. How are you today?
Amazing.
I'm so happy.
Love it. Love it. You deserve to be. So first and foremost, like how familiar were you with Big Brother when you got involved with this? Like, have you watched since you were kids? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, to be fair, we weren't, to be like completely honest, we weren't too familiar with Big Brother.
I've never watched it.
Yeah, I know my parents obviously
Wow.
have watched, growing up and when they were a little bit younger and stuff like that. But us personally weren't too like familiar with it. We're quite went in there really not knowing anything.
When we found out that we were in the house, we were going to the house, I was literally scrolling on TikTok looking at a couple snippets. I had no idea at all.
Like, let me find out exactly what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this seems fun. There's challenges.
Yeah, I think that's what we liked about it. Like, we've been asked to go on, like, for example, Love Island and stuff like that. But what made us want to go on Big Brother is that, like, the challenge aspects. We like that real, like, challenge vibe to the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, so I had a question because, we're in the U.S. here and we're huge fans of Big Brother really in general, but Big Brother U.S. is the one that we're most familiar with. And we've really gotten, into Big Brother Australia recently. But in our version of the game, at least, we've seen like siblings or twins go into the house and play together. And a lot of times, they become a target because not everybody gets to play with their brother or their sister or whoever. So I was just wondering, like, when the game started, were you worried at all? Like, what did you feel like being sisters in the house together would be like an advantage or a disadvantage to your game?
When we went on the show, we didn't actually know we were going to be playing as one housemate. They told us the day going in. So we really didn't know how they were going to play it. But I personally was like, it's going to be a disadvantage. Like, people are going to see 2, 3 straight away.
Well, that's what you'd expect.
Well, that's what you would think.
But then going in the start of the show, everyone loved Tay and I. Like, we built really good connections with pretty much everyone, and we were just so genuine. And then I think it became an advantage towards the end because we created different connections throughout the house, so it kind of was an advantage towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, between like the relationships that you guys had, like the romantic relationships, but also I felt like you guys were so well connected to everybody. Like you really got along with everyone. So you did a phenomenal job, obviously, as the winners. So
yeah, anything we might have thought we did wrong, clearly not. Yeah, it's interesting because at the beginning of this, I was like, oh, we have 2 people playing as one. I don't think that's an advantage, really, right? Because you don't really have any extra agency in the game. You still only got the 1 vote and all this and that. But like, that is interesting because later it becomes more about like, even if somebody wasn't digging one of you, they're digging the other. So it's like, I'm not going to put them up because I don't want this one to go home. So like, that's interesting too. I like that. That's fun. That's fun. So what was good with the Girls Alliance, huh? Never really got off the ground the way it was supposed to, except for the Jake vote.
Yes. Yes.
That was the one that seemed to be fine, and then everyone really in agreement with. I don't know how much you've watched of our podcast as we've been doing these, but we have affectionately coined you to the Savage Sisters. Because it definitely seemed to us that if you get into a relationship with Ari and it doesn't work out, you're out of here. And like, not to be super gossipy, but little birdie told us that Jake's kissing maybe not the best. Is that what led to his expulsion?
See you later. No.
Jake is lovely.
That's nice. Very diplomatic. Oh, do you still keep in touch with Jake? How's that going?
Yeah, no, he's lovely. I think we keep in touch with a lot of people in the house during this time. We actually caught up in the Gold Coast early this year. He came to one of my a party that I was throwing, and we're really good friends.
Good.
He's awesome, and he gave me the most beautiful message last night about winning. He's lovely.
Wonderful. Good.
I mean, while we're on the subject of alliances and, personal relationships within the house, the one time that I can remember that we saw maybe the two of you not seeing eye to eye with each other was after the TJ vote when, Tay had that falling out with Josh and the two of you were going back and forth like, no, we need him as a number. What was kind of going through your head during that? And did you consider, the potential social fallout of that?
That argument is still my favorite thing to this day. We watched it back, and I think we watched it like 4 or 5 times. It's not
So good.
Yeah, obviously, like TJ going home. Obviously, like I seen how upset Adi was, and I think knowing that Josh had flipped his vote to get him out, and then I think him putting on TJ, like he could have put it on Taylor, and like you didn't have to do Dion either because obviously we're really close to Dion. So I bearing it up all day, and I was like, I'm saying something, I can't hold it in.
I could see it. Like, obviously, I really wanted TJ to stay, but knowing he was an intruder and knowing he was on the chopping block, I was 100% fine with him going. And I was just like, "What are you doing?" Like,
and I think because we dead set was so honest in ourselves in the house, it's like I didn't even think about that was going to send us home, or I was just in my brain like I have a problem with Josh and I'm just going to say it. But he's like, we don't have an alliance with the boys, Josh. So I feel like at that time I was just like, what, I'm just gonna say it.
And to me, I feel like that boys are so strong. They were just chopping everyone off. Chopping to myself, we're getting to the end of the game here. I don't want to.
Probably was not the time to be saying anything.
I was like, this is not the time.
Right.
But it was so valid in what she was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. I will say, kind of piggybacking on that, one of the things that I have said on the podcast too before is that like I kind of almost wish we had some sisters that were like a little bit more at odds with each other. For two people to have only one vote, I would have expected some more fireworks, some more disagreements between the two of you. Like, I don't want that person to go. This isn't what I want to do. And like, we didn't really get to see any of that. Did that ever happen? That just didn't make the show?
Yeah, 100%.
It definitely did.
Yeah, there was definitely times where we went to because a lot of the time we didn't even have time to speak. Like we didn't know when an eviction was coming. So
Right,
like,
it's so rapid.
Yeah, so just random. So
very quick.
We definitely had like obviously we loved everyone the same, but we kind of did have stronger connections with different people like between us. So she would be close to some of the girls, and I was, and I'd be close to some of the boys.
And we would be in the diary room, and we're just like, she was like, I'm going to vote this person. I'm like, well, I don't want to vote this person. So like, what?
And I'm like, we're not putting this person up, and then we'd go back and forth, but we'd obviously always come to an agreement.
Yeah, we'd always. But yeah, there'd be a bit of back and forth, and we'd be like, yeah, they didn't show any of that. So yeah.
Yeah, I did wonder about that too. Yeah, I wondered about that too because I have 4 sisters and a brother, and we definitely disagree a whole lot. But from what we did see, it did seem like you guys were like on the same page, like a lot of the time. So I did wonder about that. Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay, cool. In that vein. So you had mentioned before that, good friends with Dion certainly didn't want to see him go. The way that this was edited, everything was really centered around the romantic relationships in the house, like between like TJ and Jake and Josh. So like, what other friendships did you have in the house that maybe we didn't get to see?
I was very close with Zach, and they didn't really show that, but like he was like
Zach.
Yeah, I was super close to Zach.
Love Zach.
We were kind of friends with everyone. It was kind of hard.
We were really close. I had a really good connection with Lewis. at the start. Like me and him, we're both Libras, and like my Libra sister, like we had a very connection.
Yeah, and obviously we
bond.
walked in together as well.
And obviously we walked in together that we wouldn't vote for each other either. So they never showed that. And also with Dion, honestly, Dion's a big family to me.
Just our main man.
I love Dion. Like the connection that we had in the house, all three of us, like beyond insane.
And I think one thing they didn't show is that we were actually also very close with the girls as well, but they didn't really show a lot of that. Like we were really close with Gracie May, close with Monet, like Taylor especially. Like we actually were close with a lot of the girls, but I feel like they didn't show that side.
Yeah, Gracie May is a common name that always comes up. Everyone loves Gracie May, which I also then don't understand. Like, what happened? Like, why didn't we see my girl in the end too? Like,
yeah, there's a bit of controversy around that, isn't there?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Okay, so what? So Monet too. Like, Monet had a very interesting arc. In this, obviously, having been previously evicted and everything like that. Did it seem to you that she was a little bit turned up after, her return into the house? Because I feel like it was a different Monet who came back from that half house.
100%. Like when I remember her coming back in, and obviously we loved Monet, so sending her home was a dead set. Not in our brains was going to ever happen. So when she came back in, we were so excited. But I remember when I came in, I said to Adi, I was like, she seems different. Like she's coming, she's got some spice in her. Because before that, she was very like, just go with the flow. Like, she didn't really have any like impact in the house, if that makes sense, apart from like obviously being with Louis and stuff like that, and a great girl. But when she came back in, like she came back in full force. I was like, Monet is.
It screwed on, and she had a.
Yeah, she came back in with some.
She really did.
Were you surprised at all, like when you got to watch the season back and you got to see Monet and Gracie May in the half house together? Like, were you surprised how much like planning they were doing about like, if we get in, this is our plan. We're gonna take out the boys. We're gonna do this. Like, I know like some of the other people from the season we've spoken to have said that they didn't realize how much like strategizing Gracie May and Monet were doing in there. Like, were you surprised by that at all?
Oh, yeah. I think when we watched it back, we were like, all right, the girls have got some strength going back in hot.
Yeah, because Monet came back in and she got this plan, and I was like, that's all. But I didn't realize to what extent they were really planning. It was good.
And even when she came back in, because obviously we knew that she really liked Louis, and then when she came back in and she was like, that's it, like he's on the chopping block, he's going, and we were like, all right, she's coming. We were like, oh. Because it's crazy thing, because before she came back in, obviously we were gutted about 3 girls up and we sent them home. So we went to the diary, like, all right, we're going to split this boy alliance up. So this is when we didn't know Monet had the same plan. And we were like, Louis, and we won't get Josh. Obviously, we love Josh.
But we were like,
it's like, obviously that's 2 girls gone, and we didn't realize how there's no girls anymore. So we're like, we're going to split up. And then when she came back in and did it, we were like, killed it. Like, good on her.
She smashed it,
Yeah, it's funny because I was asking Lewis and Josh about how because we saw how close Lewis, Louis, and Josh were. They're like a group of 3, and like how they probably would have wanted to go very far together. And how Louis bringing Monet back in really hurt their alliance. And I feel like for you guys, it was almost the opposite. Like if Monet wasn't brought back in, who knows what might have happened with you guys? And like now here you are as the winners. So it's very interesting.
One thing we didn't see that I am definitely intrigued by, this is actually still circling back to Monet, because I think her arc is just like very, very interesting. But do you think she used her relationship with Louis towards the end as a way to kind of propel her forward? Because some of that didn't really seem right. Like, because they had originally broken up from what I knew. And then all of a sudden now they were back together for the good of the game or the politics. Like, what do you make of that?
Oh no, I think they're frozen.
I thought they were frozen too, but I also said I'm going to keep going and see how this goes because maybe it'll catch up. And it didn't catch up. They're not here. We'll continue to hold and see what happens.
Oh wait, I heard the boo boo. Okay, we're back.
Okay, guys.
That's all right. You're all the way on the other side of the world, and you dropped out. We're all in New York, the 3 of us, and that same thing happens to us sometimes. So don't worry.
If it rains, it happens. So, So what did you hear? Where are we?
We didn't hear anything.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Sorry, cut out.
Okay. So, before Monet was, sent to the half house and, she thought she was evicted, she had basically ended things with Louis. Now she came back in and she goes, oh, we're a couple. I don't want you to break up with me on national television, blah, blah, blah. Was there actually a recoupling there, or was this just like for the game? Like, it looked very sus from where I was sitting.
Yeah, when they came in, I think they obviously had a liking to each other. I don't think they said each other, but I think, and even seeing how Monet is, you can definitely tell now that it was 100% Strat. She knew that Louis was a big editor in the house and had a lot of say against other housemates. So I think she knew that she came back and didn't want to go again. So,
yeah, but being in the house, because we didn't obviously hear any of her saying she wants to get rid of Louis. So to me, I generally thought they had a good connection, but who knows?
Yeah, it was a hard one. It was very on and off. Like, you tried to believe that there was something, then you kind of like, they're both strategic, so you just don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't know how Australians view that, because we definitely have a culture difference here. Anything savage or anything mean, everybody in Australia is like, no, that's not nice. We just want everybody to be nice to each other. And here in America, like, no, that's awesome. Great job. Yeah. So like, I actually was like impressed by the way that she was kind of like maneuvering and navigating at that point. Like, I actually thought that was like really good. It was like, now she came back in like to play instead of just like to date. So yeah. Wrong move on her part for not trying to push for you guys to go, obviously. Okay. So who do you keep in touch with now after the fact?
So it's definitely still close to Dion. Always Dion. Zach still.
Bit of Josh and TJ.
Josh and TJ still, like, we're seeing them this weekend, so we're gonna send it and party. But yeah, kind of talk to everyone a little bit, but closest has always been Dion, Josh, TJ, and Zach.
Yeah.
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
That's
So
awesome.
they really curious about that too, because we saw in this whole like reunion at the finale, there were some fireworks happening. It's a little bit of drama, it seemed like. So I was curious who we're still keeping in touch with.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought somebody was going to say something. I didn't want to cut anybody off. I had another question and I lost it. Oh, well. Monet, Dion, the friends. No, it's gone. Oh, well. Guess it wasn't that good. I don't have any other questions other than, now, wait a minute. You did mention before that, like, you're kind of interested in Love Island Australia. Is that something that maybe you might want to do going forward? Like, what is next for Tay and Ari?
You know what? We are so open to doing anything. I feel like we're super spontaneous and just go with the flow. So like anything that comes at us, we're going to take.
I feel like we'd more also want to do an overseas
Yeah,
show.
I think we've done Australia now. We want to try and take something overseas. I feel like, and winning might be a good, like, well, we've won Big Brother. Let's do something.
Yeah. I think overseas would be awesome.
Yeah, something overseas we'd love.
And something like, or like maybe
I feel
not the love aspect.
Yeah, like I feel like we love like Love Island buzz. I feel like we're not like the still your man type of girls. Like I feel like we wouldn't probably.
I'd probably get
really good.
straight.
Yeah.
You guys have you ever watched the show The Challenge?
No.
I could see you guys being very good on that.
I don't think Australia liked the challenge. I would love to see the two of you on The Amazing Race. Just seeing how well you all work together, like in this game, and like you really didn't have that many like hiccups and things like that. I would imagine that you would just kind of like, I don't know, just navigate through that game with such aplomb. And I think it'd be like amazing.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
we'd have some scraps though, that's for sure.
And that would be nice to see because we didn't get to see that on Big Brother. So there you go. You're getting to see both sides of Tay and Ari. Tay and Ari take the world. I'm down for it. So other than hanging out this weekend and getting crazy now that you've actually won this thing, what is actually next? Like, what do you do in your spare time? Like, where do you work? What's happening? We just kind of going back to our regular life after this weekend, or?
Heck no. Obviously, we do social media and like traveling is definitely what we're going to go for next year. Like, create content overseas. Keep creating experience. Doesn't stop here. We're going to keep going, keep creating new experiences.
And Tay and I are very like spontaneous people, so whatever comes our way, we with it. I think there's never an opportunity that you should never put down. So yeah,
we're young, single, ready to mingle. Let's go.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Fantastic. And congratulations again. To anybody listening or watching, where can they find you both on the socials?
Of course. So we have a shared TikTok, so it's at Boho Sisters, and then my Instagram is at Boho Barbie.
And mine's at Boho Baddie.
Oh, very
Love
nice.
it.
I love that.
Excellent,
I love
excellent. Fantastic. So anyone listening, watching, obviously throw them a follow, throw them a subscription, definitely get involved, follow what they're doing after the fact. And you can follow us as well on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We're everywhere you want to be. And that's really it. Thank you both so much for joining us. Congratulations again.
that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I guess we're
thank
out of
you
here.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Mwah.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.